While we've soared on two wings miles away from home, across seas, flights diversifying and routes increasing and opening new paths to take flight. Government is taking off with plans to develop our aviation industry, and we have the details. When we land, we'll catch up with what's happening in our tourism industry and continue our travel into the bushes and along beaches of Portland as summer warms up. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, always happy to take you on these exhilarating trips with the JIS team. Let's begin with today's news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 21. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will be taking decisive legislative action to protect the nation's children against corporal punishment. Mr. Holness's call for a ban on the physical abuse of children follows the case of 4-year-old Nashawn Brown, who was reportedly severely beaten by his stepfather. The stepfather has since been charged with cruelty towards a child, assault occasioning bodily harm, and unlawful wounding in relation to the child's mother. A post-mortem report will determine if the suspect faces additional charges. As he condemned Monday's horrifying death of young Nashawn, Prime Minister Holness urged the House of Representatives to have an open and honest conversation about the effects of corporal punishment.
Jamaica must acknowledge that violence is at crisis level in the society, and we must take the necessary legal measures to end it. We can end this epidemic of violence in Jamaica. It is full time that we stop hurting our children in the name of discipline.
The Child Protection and Family Services Agency and the National Children's Registry report that 25 to 30% of child abuse is physical. For the first half of 2021, the National Children's Registry received 1,465 reports of physical abuse, representing 26% of the 5,561 reports of child maltreatment received during the period. Prime Minister Holness is urging the public to report all forms of child abuse by calling 211 or 888-723-3776, sending WhatsApp 876-439-5199 or 876-878-2882, or sending a direct message to Safe Spot Jamaica on Instagram and Snapchat. Gender Minister Olivia Grange is urging men and boys to utilize the initiatives and programs of the Bureau of Gender Affairs. Among the programs are the Positive Fathering Project and the Young Fathers Jamaica Initiative, which are both designed to improve parenting roles and responsibilities. Minister Grange is also calling for men's full participation in shunning negative stereotypes and other hindrances to them playing an active role in their children's lives.
Too often, based on negative cultural stereotypes, we ignore the issues faced by men and boys regarding their emotional state, the structures that influence their masculinity and hinders male participation, or the societal structures that forces them to act out negatively because they are men.
Minister Grange was addressing the recently held Outstanding Father Awards ceremony, where 25 fathers were honored. The annual award was created to celebrate father figures who are inspirational role models in their families and communities. In other news, all 5 zones of special operations, ZOSOs, have been extended for a further 60 days. The areas are Mount Salem and Norwood in St. James, Denham Town in Kingston, as well as August and Greenwich Town in St. Andrew. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the extension is guided by data collected by the Jamaica Defence Force and the Social Intervention Committee. He says the mission is to achieve sustainable community development and build on the gains of earlier efforts. According to Minister Chang, in order to effectively pursue the build phase under the ZOSO, accurate socio-demographic data is being acquired on the entire population within the zones.
This will facilitate the kind of monitoring I alluded to earlier, establishing timelines and deliverables and measuring outcomes in order to ensure that an impactful and successful social investment program is effective in all these communities.
The report from the Joint Select Committee of Parliament that's reviewing the National Identification and Registration NIDS Act 2020 has been tabled. The report has several recommendations and amendments which Committee Chairman Delroy Chuck says will strengthen the bill's legislative system. The Justice Minister says one of the main recommendations is to allow the bill to protect the right to privacy of an enrolled individual as it relates to the protection of his or her data and identity.
Under the present Data Protection Act, they have a 2-year moratorium before they start to examine data collected. We are asking for change to the Data Protection Act for that moratorium to be waived with respect to the National Identification and Registration Act.
The committee has also recommended that the Independent Oversight Authority be strengthened as a commission of Parliament to report directly to the Parliament and be allowed to conduct its affairs independently. The Ministry of Education will this year launch its National Mentorship Program to provide young persons with the guidance and support of experts in their desired fields. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams made the disclosure during a recent sitting of the lower house. She says a cabinet submission will be made next month to approve the program.
These young persons will be chosen from the grassroots or communities and would have shown good attitudes and will go through a program facilitated by the staff of the ministry and partners that will aid in their character development, technical skills, and requisite soft skills that are needed for their success.
And finally, Housing and Urban Renewal Minister Pernell Charles Jr. is calling for greater collaboration among housing stakeholders to halt the spread of informal settlements. The minister made the call during a tour of communities in northwest St. Anne, including Stony Hill, Mount Edgecombe, Seacrest, and Bel Air. Minister Charles Jr. says there's an emerging trend whereby wealthy criminals are building informal settlements and selling to unsuspecting persons. The unplanned developments, he argues, are doing great harm. He's urging persons to take responsibility and report these settlements to the local authorities.
I want you to work with me to make sure that we do not inadvertently allow a situation that is going to impact you. It will devalue your property, and also the unplanned developments that I am seeing are going to affect the water table. It is going to cause pollution going down into water sources that will impact the entire community.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
My name is Venice Blackstock Murray. I am an Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions in the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. We are extremely grateful to the EU for the contribution it has made to the justice system. We have benefited from the implementation of audiovisual technology within the courts, which allows us to take evidence from witnesses who will not be able to attend court personally. We know that the collaboration with the EU and the Ministry of Justice will help Jamaica to obtain a first-class justice system.
Our airports and aerodromes are about to experience a facelift, and those improvement plans are about to widen the possibilities of the Jamaican aviation industry. Here's how the Ministry of Transport and Mining will be facilitating these developments right across the island.
With regards to general aviation, I think it is the first time for such a long time, Captain, that so much activity is going on in general aviation.
It's easy to let our imaginations run to just over a century ago, when the aviation industry was learning to fly. Today, while it flies much further, it's showing us how it underpins social networks, using its wings to bring economic growth, jobs, international trade, and tourism much closer than ever before. It's truly the same for Jamaica's aviation industry, and the expansion of our air transport industry is non-stop. Safe to say that the future for local aviation is taking off. Having recognized how aviation advances mobility and impacts development, government has big plans to further develop our airports and aerodromes.
Our police officers are getting a first world facility at Ian Fleming.
Over in St. Mary, Transport Minister Robert Montague dangled the key for a newly constructed police station at the Ian Fleming International Airport to serve the airport and the neighboring communities. So if you're flying this route, your security has already been prioritized.
At Ian Fleming, we spent some $48 million on this building. And it is giving us 2,500 square feet of space, moving from 750 to 2,500 square feet for the hard-working men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
But that's just one step towards developing the Ian Fleming International Airport, because the Airports Authority of Jamaica is scheduled to spend an additional $100 million to create a new fire station and expand the sewage facility at this airport.
We can't be moving to expand and attract business, and we can't treat with the sewage. So we are making that investment.
Safe to say that for many Jamaicans, the Norman Manley International Airport may feel like a sufficient enabler of global business, a nicely packaged aviation feature. But developments for this airport are also taking off.
The Airports Authority is investing in Jamaica. We are investing some $550 million into the Norman Manley International Airport in doing some expansion work and also doing the seawall protection.
Added to that, there are also plans to extend the runway so that path where the wheels of Metal Bird meet the ground is marked to become just a bit longer. Of course, there are those from all corners of the world, tourists who just cannot wait to land on the brightly lit tarmac in the northern part of the country. The Sangster International Airport has become famously known as tourism's main entryway to Jamaica, and that runway too is scheduled to be lengthened, along with other major improvements for the area.
At the Donald Sangster International Airport, we are spending approximately $70 million. Let me put it out there quietly. $70 million. To not only improve the runway and lengthen it, but most importantly to me as minister, to expand the arrivals hall.
Our travel continues to the southwest end of the island, to the parish reputed as the breadbasket of Jamaica, St. Elizabeth. Here you'll find the more private flights via the Lionel Densham Aerodrome, and this too is to undergo many developments to meet the future needs of aviation.
Now, a lot of persons never even realize that there is a little airport in St. Elizabeth. We are about to spend $100 million to overlay the runway and to put in a little terminal building, because that now is our investment in opening up the South Coast tourism.
This is our largest domestic airport, seated in the popular fast-paced streets of Kingston. And so far, about $20 million has been spent to fix the runway, put in a pilot's lounge, and purchase new firefighting equipment for the facility. But the upgrading continues.
Now we are moving to complete the fencing along the train line at Tinsupen.
Domestic flights continue to be facilitated on the airstrip of Ken Jones Aerodrome, found just 10 kilometers off the town of Port Antonio, especially seeing how pilots can now enjoy a newly built pilot's lounge.
We also are working to complete the fencing on that facility, and of course we have to paint it up. The chairman insisted that the thing have to look good so that when people pass you feel good. and understand that Jamaicans are invested in Jamaica.
So while air, land, and sea remains the pillars of modern mobility, it's safe to say that aviation has truly been at the forefront of the movement, grabbing the labels of reliability and good speed. And of course, all this is being continued with the plans our government has to develop the future of aviation in Jamaica.
There is so much available to us in general aviation, and we are making use of it.
My job is to ensure that every man, woman, and child maintain good health at all times.
Our primary function is to ensure that government services are delivered effectively and efficiently.
We are building forward
together.
So you've landed on our Green Isle. If you're planning to enjoy all the offerings of local tourism, then this next feature just might be of interest to you. Watch how the Ministry of Tourism is using what is known as the Blue Ocean Strategy to improve the sector's offerings.
Unprecedented times call for unprecedented moves. With a $1.5 billion loss to the tourism industry, government has adopted an age-old business strategy to engineer a rebound of Jamaica's #1 foreign exchange earner.
The strategic framework for resetting Jamaica's tourism will be guided by the Blue Ocean Strategy, which will allow us to meet our growth targets of 5 million visitors, earning $5 billion, and to provide 5,000 new rooms by 2025.
Economists have for years touted the benefits of the Blue Ocean Strategy. This business model is about creating and capturing new demand in non-existent areas. It is establishing new markets to the point of changing the desires of consumer demand. This act can differentiate a player in an industry and eliminate the competition. This is the current strategy of Jamaica's Ministry of Tourism to reclaim and exceed what it has lost during the pandemic.
A Blue Ocean Strategy calls for the creation of business models that depart from the traditional models based on head-to-head competition and gaining market share. Instead, it will see our ministry pursuing enhanced value creation through production differentiation and diversification.
The Tourism Ministry is known for developing innovative responses to crises, which often garner global recognition. The Tourism COVID-19 Resilient Corridor Program, established in the height of the pandemic and allowed for controlled movement within tourism-dependent locations, received commendations from the UNWTO. The moniker Gen Z Traveler, coined by the ministry to describe vacationers whose experiences and expectations have been shaped by the health and safety risks of the pandemic, is being used by international stakeholders. The Tourism Ministry expects that its Blue Ocean Strategy will receive similar accolades and reap tremendous rewards for the island.
It will require a shift in the mindset as we seek to uncover hidden opportunities in the tourism industry amid the COVID-era economic crisis.
The implementation of the Tourism Blue Ocean Strategy consists of a 6-step plan: expanding markets and go-to-market channels, developing new tourism products, expanding tourism community focus, maximizing linkages across all local industries, promoting resilience and sustainability, and providing destination assurance.
This new strategy, the Blue Ocean Strategy we're talking about, is focusing now on how to build the capacity of the Jamaica economy to supply the goods and services that the industry needs, and in so doing, reduce the outflow of dollars into other destinations.
Only 40 cents of every tourism dollar is retained in the country, while just 20% of tourism agricultural demand is supplied locally.
The study that we have done so far indicate that agriculture, just for fresh fruits and vegetables alone, has a demand of 67 billion Jamaican dollars. And on the manufacturing side, there is a demand already established for $360 billion.
To plug the gap, the Blue Ocean strategy will focus on expanding the work of the Tourism Linkages Network. Committees and working groups have been formed to work closely with resorts and hoteliers.
In this new Blue Ocean strategy, we are going to change the production and consumption patterns of tourism in favor of a heavier level of retention of the US dollar in the Jamaican space, and in the process create more jobs. This resetting of the industry is to broaden its scope and activities, to enable a wider breadth of employment opportunities, and also to expand the variety of skill sets that are attendant on tourism activities. It is to make the world and Jamaica understands better how a real tourism economy can in fact be structured, and why is it that tourism remains the most critical restoration action that any economy can embrace.
Now let's actually enjoy some of the offerings of Jamaica. After all, it's summer. Among the activities you may have planned for the season, a trip to Portland could be right on your list of things to do. Here are some options to explore if you find yourself in this parish.
So Portland is this parish where the waters move to their own dialogue. These shapeless liquids shaping our ability to experience life around us. Of course, we keep returning to stunning but familiar blue or turquoise spaces we grew up around, but maybe never quite enjoyed how we're supposed to.
This is a parish where the water is smooth like rum, Jamaican style.
Where life can be spicy like jerk chicken, the true flavor of Portland.
Our the culture can be exciting like we the people. 6 boy!
Luxurious resorts, the greenery of tropical plants, and the radiant sunlight, all of which of course make Portland a breathtaking place to see. But today we're exploring the seas of the parish as Portland speaks to us with her unique language. So ever since time, people have been seeking waterways to open new horizons, or even driving coastlines in search of surf spots. Well, here at Boston Bay Beach, we found one of Jamaica's ideal surf spots, where surfing in the country began in the 1900s.
The traditional surfing that we have come to envision when the word is used of someone standing on a surfboard riding a big wave. The popularity of that in Jamaica actually probably took off somewhere in the late 1950s to early 1960s. Boston was one of the places where surfing was possible, and as such these surfers who lived in Kingston used to make a regular trip over to Boston Bay to enjoy the surf over there. Boston Bay became renowned as one of the surfing beaches in Jamaica, being the fact that it was on the north coast and it was a beautiful picturesque cove that also allowed for swimming as well as surfing. It became very popular as a surf destination. I could say that I've got my first personal surfboard in about 1974. And I've been surfing since that time until now. It enriched my life, and with a feeling, when you're surfing, it's almost like flying, is what I would say. You feel like you're flying because you're moving over the surface of water like how God said they move over the surface of the water in Genesis 1.
And just in case you didn't know, Boston is an unusual but beautiful horseshoe-shaped bay that leads to the sea. It provides a lovely view. Surfing is not so popular in Jamaica, but at this beach, locals and tourists will be tempted by the tides to grab a surfboard and ride the waves. So if you're here, do it anyway.
My name is Anthony, and I've been surfing over 4 years now. Boston Bay Beach is one of the safest beaches to surf and swim and come and enjoy our good food that we have here as well.
Well, I've been surfing here at Boston Bay Beach for 9 years now and still going. Well, you have beautiful scenery, nice waves for surfing, and then you have nice jerk food all around and nice friendly people. So right now here at Boston Beach is like the most beautiful place on the island for surfing. Surfing kind of like refreshes my mind and after a stressful day and stuff like that. And teaching people to surf is also fun. It helps to put a smile on other people's face and stuff like that.
If you're a newbie like myself, come to Boston Bay Beach and test the limits of gravity on the tides. Rent a surfboard, get yourself a surf instructor and surf out. I promise you, it will be an unforgettable experience. Now, on my journey in Portland, I discovered somewhere that's tucked away in the parish. Off the beaten track, a literal hidden gem, Turtle Bay. And what makes Turtle Bay so unique? The bay is named for the turtle shell-shaped stone monument that magically rises from the water. Well, that's of course if you believe in magic. And there's an adventure to be had in trying to find your way there. Turtle Bay is a great place to just escape from the rattle and hum of things, chill and just enjoy the view of the lovely rocks. Now, after exploring all those exhibitions of colors, the ebb and flow of tides, and the beach bowing to our need for adventure, I mean, it's only fitting to relax a little above sea level. I'm on my way to Canopy House, and these are tree houses or hotels tucked away high up in the rainforest. So you can just imagine the lush surrounding, birds tweeting, leaves rustling, seas splashing. But it's easy to see how all these come together to create one thing, beauty.
Canopy House is actually near the Blue Lagoon in Port Antonio. We are totally off the beaten track. It's hard to find us, and that's deliberate. It is not for everybody. Canopy House is pretty much in a rainforest. So we have totally wooden structures. We try to fit into the environment. So if you're not into natural scenery, if you're not into environmentally friendly properties, this is not for you. We use local people to make the houses and local wood. So sweetwood, almond tree, these are just some of the names. We actually exit into the Blue Lagoon, and we have a deck that you can jump off and swim at the Blue Lagoon. We have kayaks on property. I find though that the people from Europe enjoy Canopy a lot. And lately we have been getting a lot of people from Jamaica because Port Antonio is now becoming the capital of getting away from it all in Jamaica.
It's no easy ride getting here, but it's a worthwhile trip. So Portland may be several different things for several different persons. And for me, it's a parish with so much beauty to see, feel, and taste. Come and enjoy the whole Portland story, from the bush to the beach or the hill, whatever you will. Really, it's all here.
Our travel plans for today are ending in just a few seconds. This is all the time we've been given via this channel, but keep the conversation going with us on the JIS's YouTube channel. Also visit our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more information. From all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.